In October 1962, the world came closer to nuclear war than at any other moment in human history. The Cold War had already divided the planet into two armed camps, led by the United States and the Soviet Union, each armed with nuclear weapons powerful enough to destroy entire cities. Tensions reached a breaking point when American reconnaissance planes discovered Soviet nuclear missiles being secretly installed in Cuba, just 90 miles from the coast of Florida. For the United States, this was an unacceptable threat. For the Soviet Union, it was a response to American missiles already positioned near Soviet borders. What followed became known as the Cuban Missile Crisis, a 13-day confrontation where miscalculation or panic could have ended civilization as it was known. President John F. Kennedy ordered a naval blockade around Cuba, demanding the removal of the missiles while avoiding an outright military attack. Soviet ships carrying missile equipment moved toward the blockade line, and for days, the world waited to see whether they would turn back or force a confrontation. Behind closed doors, both sides prepared for the worst. Nuclear forces were placed on high alert. Bombers were fueled. Missiles were readied. Ordinary people went about their lives unaware that global annihilation was no longer theoretical, but possible within hours. The most dangerous moment came not in the halls of power, but deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. A Soviet submarine, cut off from communication and surrounded by American warships dropping warning depth charges, believed war might have already begun. Inside the submarine, officers debated launching a nuclear torpedo. Protocol required agreement from 3 senior officers. 2 were ready to fire. The third, Vasily Arkhipov, refused. His decision, made under extreme pressure, prevented a nuclear strike that would almost certainly have triggered a full-scale war. At the time, no one outside the submarine knew how close the world had come to disaster. As the crisis continued, messages between Washington and Moscow grew more urgent. Publicly, both leaders appeared firm and unyielding. Privately, they searched for a way out. Finally, a secret agreement was reached. The Soviet Union would withdraw its missiles from Cuba. In return, the United States pledged not to invade Cuba and quietly agreed to remove its own nuclear missiles from Turkey. On October 28, 1962, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev announced the withdrawal, and the immediate danger passed. The Cuban Missile Crisis exposed a terrifying truth. The systems designed to maintain global power were fragile, dependent on human judgment in moments of fear and uncertainty. In its aftermath, both sides recognized the need for better communication. A direct hotline between Washington and Moscow was established, and arms control agreements slowly followed. Yet the lesson was clear. Nuclear war did not require evil intent, only misunderstanding, pride, or a single bad decision. Decades later, the Cold War would end without a nuclear exchange, but the events of 1962 remain a warning. For 13 days, the fate of the world rested not on machines or missiles, but on restraint, reason, and the courage of individuals who chose not to pull the trigger. It was the closest call to nuclear annihilation in history, and a reminder of how narrowly humanity escaped its own destruction.